On my previous video, I played some games that brings nostalgia to me, and also discussed my thoughts on those games that you may or may not know, but has a place in my heart. I covered two games in the racing genre. One was Light Driver 2.0 by Hella, and the other is Midtown Madness by Angel Studios. It was a fun ride experiencing those again, and I also left a gameplay at the end. And now here we are again. Welcome back to this series, Nostalgic Games or Nostalgames, where I revisit some weird old games that I played on my childhood, which brings nostalgia to me years later, and maybe it's also nostalgic for you. Today, I'm gonna cover two games again. Now they are different in genre, kind of. One in a first-person arcade shooter, and the other is a 2D shooter. They're both in the shoot 'em up genre though. One thing I said in the last episode is I like driving cars, but also I like those little shooter games. After the racing book, I always go to the shooter ones. So back in the day, I collect those weird little CDs from my dad's. There's a good amount of games from that with different genres, and along came with it is this game. I don't know what it is, but it looked like it came from a arcade shooter game. I tried looking it up today, and I got another link that has a free download, and now I got a chance to show it to all of you again. Virtua Cop 2 is a light gun arcade game, or simply an arcade shooter, released in 1995 and developed internally at SEGA by their AM2 studio. It was released on PC in 1997. The game mechanic is simple. You're a cop, you shoot criminals. The game makes you look like a super cop. If you have a great accuracy, you need to aim the crosshair to the enemies, shoot them with the left mouse button. You only have 6 bullets per round, so you gotta be careful and check your bullet count. The enemies also have lock on sight, and if it turns red, then the enemy will shoot you, losing one of your lives. You have 5 lives though. There are also civilians present, and if you manage to shoot a civilian, it will cost you 1 life. So you gotta be extra careful because the game sometimes makes them pop up when you are in your highest momentum. The game starts off with a jewelry store robbery in the city. Normal cops couldn't handle the situation, so it's your duty to fix the job. You could play this game alongside a friend, and you could play a co-op 2-player game, but good luck for him when you're playing on the PC, because player 2 will be using the numpad instead of a mouse. Once the game drops you off, enemies will automatically spawn in order. Their spawn points is not in random, and you could actually memorize where and when the enemies will spawn, and it's a huge advantage. First time playing it again, it was so cool. My memories reminded me of the patterns. I somehow knew where enemies and civilians will pop up, especially the secret weapons location. But as I played the game over and over, I still accidentally shot a civilian, forgot to reload, and got myself shot. Sometimes your momentum is so high that you forgot that the civilian was about to pop out and you'll end up shooting. Forgetting to reload is a sin too. I ended up smashing reload even if I'm shooting, so the gun would always in full clip. The physics is also great. You can shoot tires so the enemy car would crash instead, but just be careful because you don't want to crash the car with a civilian inside. It will still count as a civilian hit. You could also shot some items like trash cans, vases, glasses, and many more. Some of those props will drop a gun or a life that will give you advantage on your mission. Some of those weapons are permanent, others are not. I managed to get a submachine gun, but it's only a one-off. You can't reload it, and once the clip is empty, you return to your default gun. One time I got a magnum, it was permanent, and I can reload anytime. I replayed for a good 30 minutes, got killed, and replayed again and again until I got a hold of it. I still managed to shot civilians out of smashing the buttons, but still, I faced the first boss, defeated him with ease. After completing stage 1, I am feeling like I am a low-cost John Wick. Stage 2 was on the pier and it was on medium difficulty. Again, I reached the boss battle, which is harder, but I survived. I made it to stage 3. It was located on subway. That's where I meet my end. You'll be in the train, the camera is shaking, and these enemies popping from left and right while civilians distract you. It was a mess. Big mess. After that I was done. It was a nice run. Despite of losing your first round, you could play it again, knowing that the pattern of the enemies won't change. Memorizing the pattern is a huge advantage, and in that way, you can perfectly finish the game. Good thing you're on PC and you won't waste any coins like we all do in real-life arcades. It's rather a simple arcade game that is ported into the PC. It's fun to play from time to time, and you'll still have that John Wick super agent feels even on the PC. If you want to try it, I'll leave a link down below to try it yourself. Okay, next game. Y'all even know this gem? The Last Stand 2. This game is an underrated treasure. The description of the game says all. Shoot the incoming zombies, set traps, arm other survivors with weapons, and blow the zombies away. Simple. It's bad if we don't acknowledge its predecessor, The Last Stand. They played both games, even played the third game, but we'll cover that in another video. The reason I chose this game is for its gameplay, and it's my favorite zombie shooter game back in the day. The Last Stand is a popular series of Adobe Flash video games produced by Chris Condon. The games are set during a zombie apocalypse where survivors must fend off hordes of the undead to stay alive. The first game was released on 2007, while its sequel is on 2008. You can play it on armorgames.com, but I prefer playing it on Y8 because it loads faster. The first game is very simple. You got a survivor, you get a gun, you shoot at the incoming zombie, and done. After that, you will be given these Rs. You can spend your hours repairing your barricade, look for a weapon, or look for other survivors. This depends on how you will prioritize your gameplay. You could have to look for survivors and weapons while your barricade isn't fixed. Or you can fix the barricade, but you'll have fewer hours to spend on looking for survivors and weapons. Not all searches are success though. Sometimes you'll spend all of your hours searching for survivors but you won't find any. The first game is rather simple as that. If you found a survivor, then it'll help you. If you found a weapon, then you could use it to advance to the next day and repeat. I don't know why I found the first one much harder to play rather than a sequel. When I found out the sequel, it was much better. The mechanics are still the same. After surviving day 1, you'll be given hours, but this time, you'll have a map. And you have choices whether you'll go to a police station or houses, markets, and other places. Each location has a different count of hours. So you can either search for 4 small houses or 2 huge police stations. The best part of it is you can possibly have a survivor and a gun at the same time while searching in just one house. Unlike its predecessor, the search hours for weapon and survivors are different. After your search, you'll go to the menu where you can organize what weapon you'll be using. And you can also give those weapons to your survivors. The only difference now is you can travel to different places when you have the sufficient amount of supplies for your travel. The first location is easy. In my first round, I just used what I liked. I got a good game, but after a while, I got reckless. I didn't look out for my allies and they end up dying one by one. I didn't also prioritize on weapon searching, so I was just stuck with my compound bow, which doesn't really help. I replayed the game and this time I prioritized on searching. I watch out for my survivors and we end up surviving the farm. I was speedrunning the game, but now we're in the city. I got my luck and had a M4A1. I also got automatics that I gave to my survivors, and we have been doing well until this happened. It was a cool game, especially when you're a kid imagining you're a badass survivor in a zombie apocalypse show. Plus, for a flash game, this is a great time killer game. I enjoyed this so much back when Y8 and Newgrounds was popular. This is one of the games that I always play on repeat, and I can't even remember if I finished this because until now, I still can. After playing this for like an hour, it gave me one hell of a nostalgia again. It's cool on its time, but now with these new games like Dying Light or The Last of Us, there's cooler zombie games to play in our current generation. But it's cool to revisit it from time to time when we just wanna play a chill game when away from our consoles. So before I end this video, I leave a couple of gameplay for both games, Virtua Cop 2 and the Last Stand 2. I also leave links down below for you to try it yourself. And as always, thank you for watching this video, subscribe if you want more, and I'll see you in the next one.